Thank you for joining us for KREM News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. First up tonight, the Coeur d'Alene School Board will discuss a policy requiring students to use bathrooms that align with their biological gender. This after Governor Brad Little signed a new law. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk explains tonight.
Last month, Idaho Governor Brad Little signed Senate Bill 1100, otherwise known as the Bathroom Bill, requiring schools to maintain separate restrooms and changing areas designated as either male or female only. The bill, set to become state law on July 1st, also lets a person who encounters someone of the opposite sex in a public school bathroom, locker room, or sleeping quarters to sue the school district for $5,000 for each instance. Tomorrow, the Coeur d'Alene School District Board of Trustees will hold a special meeting to discuss a bathroom policy which aligns with the new state law.
I think there's been a reluctance to develop a policy because it's a hot button topic. But I think the time has come that we must have a policy.
According to documents, the district will also provide reasonable accommodations like single occupancy restrooms for students who are unwilling to use a restroom assigned to their biological gender. Tuesday's special meeting starts at 4:30 at the Midtown Center meeting room. Reporting in Coeur d'Alene, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
In other news tonight, we are bringing you the very latest in an ongoing debate surrounding mifepristone, an abortion drug at the center of some controversy. Hours ago, the Department of Justice filed an appeal against a federal judge's ruling that suspends FDA approval of the pill. That decision happened on Friday. It ignited conflict across the nation, including right here in Spokane, where a federal judge issued an opposing ruling blocking any changes to the pill's availability in select states, including here in Washington. Well, now Planned Parenthood in our area is addressing the fight, saying the future legality of the pill is still up in the air.
It has already been appealed by the Biden administration, so it'll likely either go to a circuit or up to the Supreme Court. But what we know is that right now the approval of mifepristone remains intact.
Mifepristone was first approved by the FDA all the way back in 2000. Spokane's Planned Parenthood has already seen an increase in patients since Idaho's abortion ban last summer, and now Planned Parenthood says they're expecting even more. Well, we have new information from the Coeur d'Alene Police Department about a deadly shooting that happened in a parking lot on Friday. That's where a suspected burglar was shot by an armed citizen. Tonight, police have identified that armed man as 74-year-old James Dean, a resident of Priest River. Police say Dean and his wife were walking back to their truck when they saw 30-year-old Shane Brown inside their pickup. After confronting Brown with the handgun, the suspect then got into another car and, according to police, accelerated and hit Dean with it. And that's when Dean fired several shots, killing the suspect. It is unclear right now if that armed citizen will face any charges. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. Today, lawyers arrived at the courthouse in Ada County for opening statements in the trial of Lori Vallow. She is accused of murdering her 2 children and her husband's former wife. Today, prosecutors laid out what they believe is a timeline of the murders, while also showing photos of how the children were found in separate shallow graves. Outside the courthouse, the grandfather of Vallow's son, JJ, spoke to the media.
And I truly believe in the court system. I'm the biggest advocate of 12 jurors and a fair and honest judicial system. And I think we got it. I really do.
The trial is expected to last several weeks. Cameras are not allowed inside the hearing. A Washington State trooper who was shot in the face and survived got a hero's welcome at the state capitol this morning. WSB Trooper Dean Atkinson got a standing ovation this morning, along with a proclamation honoring his service to the state. Atkinson says he's feeling great and he hopes to return to the state patrol.
If I don't get to put the uniform back on, it'll be a bad day. So my one goal is to get the French blue back on, and however long that takes, it's how long it takes, but that's my goal.
It's probably in his DNA. So he is there to serve, to take care of the people, and to protect them. And so this resolution is to honor him because of what he is doing for us.
Atkinson has regular physical therapy appointments, but he hopes he's had his last surgery. Well, drivers heading into downtown Spokane can expect some delays and detours for the next several weeks. Right now, Riverside Avenue is closed between Stevens and Wall Streets. Howard is closed between Riverside and Sprague. And work on the Thor Freya project is scheduled to start again this week. Finally, North Monroe will be reduced to 1 lane between Summit and Boone by next week. The city understands it is a frustrating process, but they also say it's necessary to prepare for Bloomsday and for Hoop Fest. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them right to your phone. All right, let's talk weather now with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Kind of a rainy start to our work week, Jeremy, and also tracking this flood watch that remains in effect at this hour, right?
Yep, we're starting with a lot of rain, and that comes thanks to an atmospheric river. Our PWAT level, or potential water that could fall out of the atmosphere, is quite high right now, meaning our atmosphere is saturated with moisture that is going to continue to fall. That's also bumping our temperatures up, and with that, we get melting snow on top of it. The reason for it is the direction at which this moisture originates. Comes all the way from the Pacific, and as you can see, with it just pushing directly into the region, it's warm as well as wet. So what we wind up getting is a ton of rain. You can see those bands of yellow and orange on the radar. Those are bands of very heavy rainfall, and in some locations, we've already picked up quite a bit. That's now moving into the north, starting to see it in some of the mountains, and notice it is all rain. It continues to fall as rain and moves through here in Spokane overnight. By tomorrow morning, we're kind of on the backside of it, believe it or not, but then wind picks up and it's scattered showers taking us through the afternoon. So tomorrow, rainy in the morning. It is going to be a wet start to the day, a few scattered showers in the afternoon, rather windy. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we'll start to see more and more sunshine as temperatures slowly climb.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. Well, we are counting down to the return of baseball season in Spokane. The Spokane Indians are playing their season opener at home tomorrow. And the voice of the Indians, our very own Mike Boyle, joined Whitney in the studio earlier today to talk about what we can expect to see from the team in the coming months.
It's going to be a neat club to see this year because a lot of from Fresno that won their division last year and went to the playoffs. So a lot of local players as well that'll be going on. You know, you can see your favorite things to do at the ballpark. You know, there's Gabe Hughes from Gonzaga. He'll be starting tomorrow's game. He's going to be a guy that you're going to keep your eye on. 10th overall pick in the first round last year. Threw a couple of games in Fresno at the end of last year, but he's expected to be the ace of the staff.
And tomorrow is KREM 2 night, so join Whitney, Jeremy, Travis, and myself to celebrate the first pitch of baseball in Spokane. The game starts at 6:35. Hope to see you out there at Avista Stadium. In national news tonight, a truck carrying 40,000 pounds of contaminated dirt overturned in Ohio earlier today. The truck was coming from the side of the East Palestine derailment site. It was part of the cleanup crew. The truck spilled the dirt just 4 miles from the derailment. It closed roads for hours as crews worked to clean up the contaminated soil. Now, the EPA was on the scene and they said there was no danger to the public. Meantime, new video out of Baltimore tonight shows the bottom of an inner harbor. The driver of a car was rescued by the chef of a nearby restaurant. That chef jumped into the harbor, broke the window with his elbow, and then swam the man to a life ring. According to police, that driver was experiencing a mental health crisis. The chef, he's in the hospital tonight recovering from injuries that he got while breaking that window. Caught on camera tonight in Tijuana, a building unexpectedly collapsed into the road. Take a look at that. You can see some emergency workers on the road moments before. That building then falls over, sending plumes of dust into the air. According to the Tijuana City Council, this is the second building in that area to collapse, and they blame it on a recent landslide in the area. It's unknown if anyone was inside that building. In other news, Ethan Chapin's family is helping to keep his memory alive at the Skagit County Tulip Festival. He was one of the 4 University of Idaho students murdered last year. Ethan's mom and dad are selling tulips to honor their son. Those tulips named Ethan Smile.
I mean, if you've seen any picture of him, it speaks for itself. He was a beautiful kid, but he had a beautiful smile, warm, kind, charismatic. There's just something about him.
Ethan Smile tulip bulbs can be purchased at the Tulip Valley Farms website. Proceeds from the tulip sales will go to the Ethan Smile Foundation, which will provide scholarships to kids in Skagit County.